Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Now, if there's one thing you can pretty much always count on with sister wives, it's that Christine and Robyn will not be seeing eye to eye. Seriously, it's almost a guarantee. These two have been clashing since the very beginning, and that tension goes all the way back to the early days of their relationship with Cody. If you dig through old photos, you'll notice something pretty telling. There aren't many pictures of Christine and Robyn actually spending time together. That's because, honestly, they rarely did, except, of course, when the cameras were rolling. This past season was no different. You probably saw them pointing fingers at each other, each convinced the other was in the wrong. Christine's complaints sometimes had a solid basis, while Robyn, well, she often lobbed accusations at Christine, whether they were fully accurate or not. And one thing is crystal clear. If Robyn needs someone to blame, Christine is her go-to. For a while, it used to be Mary in that role, but now it's all Christine. Fans were particularly surprised when Suki mentioned hearing from Christine about a personality test they had all supposedly taken. Christine, Janelle, and Mary admitted to doing it, but when it came to Robyn, she flat out denied ever taking the test. Here's how that went. "I never took it, but I remember it." "You never took it?" "I never did. Some of us did, and I just didn't." So if someone else was coming up with my personality type, they were basically taking the test for me and deciding, "Oh, I think this is who you are." That moment was a real eye-opener. Robyn made it clear. If someone else is defining your personality for you, it's a sign that they didn't really take the time to know you. And that's exactly how she felt about Christine. The tricky thing with Robyn's response is, well, it keeps changing. 1 minute, she says she doesn't remember taking the test. Then she remembers. Then she says she didn't, and on top of that, she accuses Christine of filling out the answers for her. Here's the real issue. Robyn isn't just blaming Christine. She's actually bending the truth. Back in Season 6, Episode 10, the family went down to Sedona for what was basically a couple's retreat. This was the first time they met with Nancy, and they brought their therapist, Pat, along. It was that transitional moment when Pat was introducing everyone to Nancy. And at the very start of that gathering, you guessed it, they all took the personality test together. So, Robyn's claim doesn't hold up. Whether she was intentionally lying or just making it up on the spot, her default seems to be, blame Christine. My guess? It stems from the feud these two have carried since day one. I actually spoke with a cousin of Christine's, who shared some new insights, which I'll get into in a moment. But before we dive in, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and click the bell so you never miss an update. Back to the story. Robyn's arrival in the family really shook things up for Christine. She said it herself. "The whole Robyn coming along thing was making me mad because I hadn't met her. And here's Cody, going on and on. He prays about her. He gets a testimony that she's definitely someone he wants in the family. Meanwhile, I'm panicking. I haven't met her. I don't know what she's like. Never even seen her before. And honestly, I felt horrible. I felt like I had lost my best friend." This was way back in the first season, 2nd episode, when we meet Robyn Brown for the very first time, before she was even really Robyn in the family dynamic. Christine Brown has been very clear about how she felt when Robyn came into the family. She thought it was horrible. She'd never met Robyn before, didn't know her at all, and felt like she had lost her best friend overnight, simply because Cody had received a testimony that Robyn was meant to join the family. That was it. Fast forward to a tell-all a couple of nights ago, and Janelle and Mary revealed something interesting. The family coming together to accept Robyn felt forced. Not everyone was on board. Some needed more time, some weren't sure, and some felt like they really had no choice. Christine, she was definitely one of those people who felt cornered by the situation. Here's where it gets even more revealing. A cousin of Christine's shared some insight that adds a new layer to the story. Now, they don't claim to know everything for sure, but here's the connection. Christine's cousin is also related to Preston, Robyn's ex-husband. Because Christine and Preston are first cousins, her cousin has a perspective that others might not. According to Christine's cousin, Robyn joining the family wasn't just about Christine feeling left out or replaced. The concern was deeper. There were real questions about why Robyn was really joining the family. Christine's cousin says that Christine had access to Preston's side of the story, and it painted a troubling picture. Preston claimed that Robyn had left him in financial ruin. She left him nearly bankrupt, and because of their divorce decree, he couldn't even file for bankruptcy to recover. He lost his business, the family was left in debt, and Robyn allegedly owed thousands of dollars. On top of that, Preston claimed Robyn accused him of abuse, something he insists never happened. Even in the very first episode, Christine dropped hints about the kind of woman she thought shouldn't join the family. It wasn't just personal. There were real, serious concerns about Robyn's past and the motivation she might bring into the family dynamic. Here's another layer to the story. Christine's cousin, who is female, by the way, is related to both Christine and Preston, Robyn's ex-husband. Yes, that's right. Robyn was married to Christine's cousin. To break it down, Preston's mom and Christine's dad are siblings, which makes Christine and Preston first cousins. What's wild is that this connection has never been shared on the show. It's not something the family has ever talked about publicly. But it sheds new light on Christine's perspective when it comes to women joining the family. Christine actually discussed the kind of women who shouldn't join a plural family. She said, "There are situations where a girl will come into a family just wanting the guy, and it rips the family apart. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted the family. That's what I was interested in." She also shared that she had decided at 19 years old that she wanted to enter a plural marriage, and specifically as a third wife. She explained that in their church, they often say, if a man is having difficulties with two wives, bringing in a third can actually help even things out. From the very start of the series, in her first one-on-one interview, Christine made it clear. Some women join these families for the wrong reasons. They're there for the man, not the family, and that can cause serious problems. She made it equally clear that her motivation was different. She wanted the family. She wanted to be a third wife, and she had always envisioned it that way. Now, Christine's cousin gave me a little more insight into this whole situation. Christine's cousin gave me some fascinating backstory about why Christine wanted to be that third wife. According to her cousin, who is also a plural wife, the reasoning ties directly into their beliefs about the celestial kingdom and reaching the highest level of heaven. In their faith, a man only needs 3 wives to meet the minimum requirement to enter the celestial kingdom. Most men don't take more than 3 because, as her cousin put it, why take on more responsibility when you don't have to? 3 wives is enough. There's also a practical side to it. The idea is that when one wife be spending time with the husband, the other wife has a friend to hang out with, so no one feels like the third wheel. But when the wives don't get along, or if the number of wives creates imbalance, problems can arise. And well, that's pretty much what happened with the Browns. Because Christine was the third wife, her cousin said she had always wanted to be the last wife, the final addition. In fact, she didn't even expect Cody or the family to take another wife, especially since it had been so long since they added anyone. Christine had been married for 16 years at that point, and as the last wife, she had been Cody's most desired wife. Here's where it gets really interesting. In their tradition, there's something called the Law of Sarah, practiced during weddings. Christine's role at Cody and Robyn's wedding was symbolic. She had to place Robyn's hand into Cody's hand. That act wasn't just a gesture. It meant Christine was passing the role of desired wife to Robyn. Essentially, Christine was giving up her spot as the most cherished wife, and Robyn was taking that place. It's a lot to take in, but this shows just how complicated these family dynamics really are, and why Christine felt so much tension when Robyn entered the picture. The desired wife spot usually goes to the youngest wife, according to Christine's cousin. The reasoning? Younger wives are more likely to have children, bring new babies into the family, and let's be honest, men tend to favor them because they often have fewer responsibilities and more energy. You get the picture. So for Christine, this was a huge deal. Not only was she forced to give up her spot as the last desired wife, but she also had to go through the Law of Sarah, something she'd never had to do before, just to remain part of the family. She didn't really have a choice. Completing this symbolic act was tied to her path to the celestial kingdom, so it wasn't optional. Every wife is supposed to hand over a new wife to her husband. Robyn? She never did it. So, who knows? Maybe that has spiritual implications. One of Christine's biggest concerns was Robyn herself. Because Robyn was related to Preston, Christine's cousin, Christine had heard Preston's side of the story. She knew there had been issues in his past marriage with Robyn and believed Robyn might not be joining the family for the right reasons. Add to that the fact that Christine had been the last desired wife for 16 years, and you can see why she was hesitant. She didn't want to give up that role, but Cody essentially forced her to. Christine herself reflected on it. Here is this girl, choosing to come into a family with 16 people, 3 wives. She could have her pick. I know she's a mom. She's been married before. She has 3 kids, but she could still have her pick. And she's really choosing us. Honestly, there are jealousy issues. That's natural. Hopefully, that's something I can overcome. Robyn clearly knew what she was doing, and Christine had to navigate all these feelings while trying to keep the family intact and stay true to her own role in the dynamics. Period. Breeze. Period. Breeze. Period. So what was really going on with the Brown family? According to one of Preston's nieces I spoke with, Robyn was very aware of what was happening with Cody and the family. She knew they were getting a reality show, and Robyn had always dreamed of being on TLC or reality television in general. Fame was on her radar from the start. She wanted something big. The niece explained that Robyn's decision to leave Preston and her previous life wasn't just about moving on. Preston hadn't made a lot of money, and the family wasn't as wealthy as she might have liked. Robyn loved to shop, and that apparently played a role in her decision. She left her ex-husband's family in complete disarray and moved down to Utah. Here's the juicy part. According to the niece, Robyn's meeting with Cody wasn't an accident. Robyn specifically sought him out, wanting to join his family. Why? Because he was going to be on the show. He was going to be famous, and Robyn wanted in on that fame too. A friend of Preston's echoed the same sentiment. She said Robyn was on a quest for fame, and coupled with her shopping habits, she needed a man who could fund her lifestyle. Cody, suddenly coming into money thanks to the show, was the perfect opportunity. This friend also added that Cody and Robyn are 2 peas in a pod. Very, very similar. That Robyn had caused quite a bit of destruction in Montana with her previous family. They feared the same pattern might happen with the Browns, because, apparently, Robyn doesn't like to share. So, once Robyn joined the family, Christine had her doubts. She believed that Robyn wasn't coming into the family for the right reasons, that there were motives beyond simply joining a plural marriage and embracing the family dynamic. Here's where things really start to get messy. Christine, as the last wife, had to give up her spot as the most desired wife and hand it over to Robyn. And Robyn, she's thin, tall, and, according to Cody, a diesel jeans model. Christine was understandably devastated. On top of all that, she was pregnant at the time, delivering just a few weeks before the wedding. Talk about horrible timing. The family was in complete chaos. According to Christine's cousin, the family had never really been consistent. Janelle left multiple times. Christine and Janelle's relationship was a roller coaster. Janelle and Mary didn't get along, while Christine and Neri were sometimes close and sometimes not. Cody, the cousin said, could be verbally abusive, and he bounced around jobs constantly. He'd get bored quickly and never stick with anything for long. So, in a way, the show became Cody's ticket to easy money and the wealth he wanted, without having to work too hard. But for everyone else, it felt forced. Christine knew about Preston and Robyn's past, and she had concerns about Robyn's motives. When Robyn joined the family, Christine's worries intensified. Robyn, having never lived in a polygamous family before, decided she wanted to be the head wife. She was used to getting attention. After all, she had been married to Preston for 7 years, and he had never intended to be a polygamist. They weren't even married in the church, so when they divorced, there was no need for a formal release from the church. Essentially, Robyn was leaving the monogamy world and stepping back into polygamy. But this time, she was determined to take control. That dynamic alone was enough to ignite tension, jealousy, and conflict right from the start. Robyn had never been in a relationship within a polygamist household before. She grew up with a father who was a polygamist, but they didn't all live in the same house. Her mother was the first wife until Robyn was about 12, and then she became a second wife herself when her mother's husband married another woman named Paul. So Robyn had experience with polygamy, 2 fathers who were polygamists, but she had never lived under one roof with multiple wives. According to Christine's cousin, living in one house with multiple wives isn't super common. It happens, but it tends to be chaotic and can create a lot of tension among the wives. Robyn, it seems, didn't like being at the bottom of the hierarchy. She wanted Cody all to herself. Christine, on the other hand, knew the truth about who Robyn was from the start. And because Christine had Robyn figured out early on, Robyn went on a campaign to discredit her. She worked to make everyone around her believe that Christine was dangerous or untrustworthy. Very similar to what Robyn had done with her ex-husband, Preston. With Preston, she told people he was abusive, a deadbeat and a horrible father, painting him in such a bad light that if he ever tried to speak up, no one would believe him. Robyn used the same tactics with Christine. According to multiple sources, a former friend of Robyn's and a cousin, Robyn actively told people not to trust Christine and to avoid being friends with her. Basically, Christine knew the truth about Robyn, and Robyn spent years trying to protect her reputation by smearing Christine. Even to this day, that effort continues. Christine knew from the very beginning that Robyn didn't really belong in the family. She saw right through her. Christine believed Robyn joined for the wrong reasons. She wasn't truly committed to plural marriage, and a big part of her motivation was fame. And according to Christine's cousin, Robyn has a habit of lying in tell-alls about anything Christine says, which only fuels their ongoing feud. Now, the fights between Robyn and Christine on the show, those aren't new. We've seen them argue time and time again. Disagreements, tension, conflicts over the smallest things. But for some reason, Robyn seems to want everyone to pretend those feuds never happened. She acts as if we forgot about the personality test, or that Cody was wearing a wedding ring at the beginning of the show, or that he would leave Christine's house in the morning of filming just to go over to Robyn's. Robyn rarely admits to any of her actions. Christine's cousin explained it like this: Robyn is playing a role. She lines up all the women in the family, positions herself perfectly, and acts like she's the ideal wife. But just because she's having issues with other women doesn't mean everyone else is bad. Christine's cousin said it's not fair, and it's not just drama. She's serious about it. The cousin also believes that because Robyn is trying so hard to be the top wife, she will do whatever it takes to accommodate Cody, to give him what he wants, and to be whoever he needs her to be. That means she might pretend to be someone she's not, all in an effort to maintain her position and influence within the family. So why did Robyn get so upset about Christine and the personality test? Based on my conversations with people who know Robyn and what Christine's cousin shared, this actually makes sense within the culture and dynamics of these families. Robyn's reaction is tied to drama being the polar opposite of what Cody believes. Cody doesn't see Robyn as dramatic. Christine, on the other hand, calls her out. You're dramatic. You do this, you do that. And Christine has Robyn figured out. But Robyn's response is always, I'm not dramatic. This isn't me being dramatic. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. To Cody, Robyn isn't dramatic, so she has to maintain that image at all costs. Robyn's strategy is clear. She plays the perfect role on camera and in front of Cody. Behind the scenes, she might be sneaky, manipulating situations, turning people against Christine, Janelle, or Mary. Maybe even doing things like catfishing or stirring up trouble. But in front of Cody, she denies everything. She needs to appear as the ideal, flawless wife, just as Janelle once described her. Ultimately, the feud between Christine and Robyn goes all the way back to Robyn's ex-husband, Preston, and Christine's family connection. Christine knew the backstory and understood Robyn's patterns from the very beginning. That's why the tension was there from day one, and why it hasn't gone away. I'd love to hear what you think about all this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Bye for now.